Welcome back aboard BLERD Force 1 with your boys Mo and Ladi. And today we are reviewing X-Men 97, Season 1, Episode 3. It's entitled Fire Made Flesh. It's coming to you from Disney+. So, what did we think about it, and should you be watching? And before we get into the review, get down there, hit like on this video. Ladi, X-Men 97 is just like, it's steaming along like full speed. I have to say, they go straight into a really huge comic book, storyline. But boy, they speed run that bitch in one episode. It's the Inferno, where we find out there are two Jean Greys. One of them's a clone, one of them's the real one. And of course, Mr. Sinister is all up in that shit. Of course, it's got to be. And so, how does clone Jean Grey react to this? Let's just say not well. How do the X-Men react to Mr. Sinister being around? Also not well. And they come to blows. Surprise, it's a superhero thing. You know what? Everyone is kind of like going off on it on social media. I'm sure you've seen Ladi.
I have not.
Oh, you haven't been paying? Oh yeah, it's all over my threads. So, a lot of really, let's just say, enthusiastic takes. But Ladi, what's more important is, how did you feel about this episode? What did you think?
I like this. I really like this episode. The only gripe that I had about this episode, the length, I felt was a little bit of a problem. I felt like this episode should have been 45 minutes to an hour. It felt like you said perfectly. It was speed ran. It felt like there wasn't enough time. Like a fake, like we find out Jean is fake. The Jean that Scott had a baby with is fake. Then you find out more and more stuff with her. This happened, and then resolve. And I'm just like, they did a good job of explaining the entire story and putting it all in a bow. But in my opinion, I think there should have been more emotional attachment for this. That, like, we don't know when it happened. We as the writers, we as the viewer doesn't know, and the characters don't know. And it just is like, it just resolved itself, and it just felt way too easy of a resolve. You get what I'm saying? Like, am I the only? Do you feel this way with this episode?
That it resolved so well. It's the nature of the speed run. So, like, they're not stretching it out. They're not all of that stuff. To be honest, if they were going to do it in like 30 minutes, I think they handled it about as well as you could ask them to. They had enough time for one knockdown, drag out fight plus kind of a horror sequence, survival sequence, and dealt with all of the emotional fallout of the two Jean Greys, and dealt with and dealt with Sinister. There's a ton of stuff in there. It did wrap up with a nice, I don't want to say nicely with the bow, but I guess I could see where you're coming from. I didn't feel like it was left unresolved things or anything like that. It was more to me just like, I understood that they were very quickly getting through this through the storyline. But that being said, like, it was like they went full horror. They went full horror with the Goblin Queen bit, and it was pretty damn cool. Animation's great, by the way. Mm-hmm. They went full horror and body horror, melting faces and things like that. Someone said like they did the Studio Ghibli, Spirited Away, like horrific, like fantasy monster thing was going on. That was pretty cool. Like, I really enjoyed that. Also, let me just say, as an aside, I kind of love the character building that's going on, even within these small sequences. Like, you noticed Roberto is hanging out at the mansion with Jubilee, so there's something going on there. I'm like, cool. Jubilee getting to be a teenager. But also, did you notice more Morph shooting his shot with fake Wolverine. Like I did not know. It never even occurred to me that, you know, he has a thing for Wolverine. And I'm like, all right, well, Morph, get it in when you can, if you can. And but of course, you know, Wolverine's got his eyes on not one but two redheads. So I just thought, I was like, okay, that other people are, you know, got stuff. And Morph also being the ultimate troll with Gambit, with that whole Magneto and Rogue training, you know, Danger Room training session shit. I was like, man, he's you gonna be that guy. You gonna stir the pot out. Okay, all right, do your thing. Also, one other thing, I was so at the beginning of the episode where she's just like, he's like, one of you is a clone. It's like, you're actually the Jean that we've been with this whole time is actually the clone. And she's like, it can't be right, Scott? And I was like, all I could say was, man, if you better not sell her out right now. You have been having sex with this woman. Y'all have a baby. Y'all are married. You bet. And he sat there and sold her out. I was like, you ain't shit, Scott Summers.
That's who Scott is, man. Scott don't trust nobody but himself, man.
I was like, don't be that guy. Don't be. Oh, you ain't shit, motherfucker. You go sit there. He hesitated. He didn't even just you remember, you know, sometimes they'll be like, you hesitated too long. That's how I know you're full of shit. No, he didn't even hesitate. He just said nothing. I was like, God damn, man. Come on. Really?
That's Scott, man. I mean, if you live in a world where there's people like Morph, Mystique, and all that stuff, where like Mystique is like extremely good at being undercover, like that junk could trick you, man.
But I'm just saying, Beast didn't say she was shapeshifter. He just said she's a clone, and we don't know how long she's been here. So theoretically, she could have been there for a long time, and you've been hanging out with this woman, and now you're just like, oh, she's a clone, therefore she's not. I can't trust it. I mean, get out of here. If I would have respected Scott a lot more if he'd been like, well, maybe that's true, but you know, this is still, you know, the woman that I've loved, and moved on like that. It's crazy. Scott ain't shit.
Remember, there's a reason why Wolverine calls Scott a dick. Like, Scott is a dick.
Also, Wolverine can't even get the clone. I'm like, God dang, Wolverine, you ain't never getting Jean Grey. Let's just call it like that. He was just, that is not happening.
He tried to get at the real Jean Grey. What she didn't have any memories. As soon as she pictured Scott, I gotta go. Damn. Gotta go.
Boy, he's friend zone, and it's like he's friend zone and come rescue me when I need you, but otherwise, you know, you ain't even a side piece. You're just a best friend. Oh my God, poor Wolverine. Either way, that does lead to Magneto being. I like Magneto being the leader because he's like, yeah, we're gonna go fuck up Sinister because enough of this bullshit. Exactly. I really love that, like just being being take charge, but they get there and don't count on spoilers, of course. Jean Grey clone has now become the Goblin Queen, and she's been influenced by Sinister. She was cloned by Sinister. She turns into Goblin Queen, which, by the way, as soon as I saw her transformation, I was like, I need the fucking Marvel Legends toy of this, because like she looked badass. Am I wrong? Yeah, she looked so fucking badass, and proceeds to give them the business like in the fight. Was it Rogue? No, what was, I forget who had to stay behind, but I was just like, man, no, y'all ain't ready for this fight. You're literally fighting someone that you knew held the Phoenix Force. You don't think she got some skills? Just went on.
Exactly.
It was a great, like she beat the shit out of Magneto. Like just like he stole something. Really,
and then the real Jean Grey said, all right, that's enough.
Yeah,
that's enough. Tired of this.
and they had a little psychic fight. But this is where the genius of this episode is, in that little psychic realm, they did a shit ton of character building, right? Showing her as a kid and what kind of awakened her powers, and her having let's call it a love in to sort of get Madeline Pryor, which is eventually is her name, the Goblin Queen, to sort of remember her emotional center, and that she does have love for Scott and for the baby, little baby Nathan, who unfortunately is floating in a vat of goo. Someone said Nickelodeon slime. He's just he's just floating in slime or whatever. But that enables her to kind of break the control and like get on with fighting Sinister proper. So I mean, look, like I said, Scott ain't shit. But once it came to Nathan, they were, they came together and made it happen. But of course, this is leading into Nathan becoming Cable and being sent to the future. Like I said, there's an emotional center to all of this stuff. Like I like the bit where Jean is kind of talking to Nathan, and kind of giving him some psychic memories, and just all of that work there. Even like I said, even with Scott being kind of a dick, about it, I did enjoy. I
can't even be a part of this.
But you were a part of making it. Why don't you? you were 100% there for when y'all were making the kid. You need to be here for when y'all give the kid away. Oh, I did. You know what? Until we started talking, I did not realize Scott disappointed me so fucking much in this episode.
That's Scott, man.
And I like him a lot in the first two episodes, but goddamn, like, what is it about Jean Grey that just makes him make terrible decisions? I don't know. But either way, I don't know. I really like this episode. So far, all three episodes have hit. Like I think I texted you about this, and I was just like, man, this is just peak. It's just peak X-Men. I think that's true. Like they did. I understand your complaints about the length of it, and if they wanted to give us 45, 50 minutes of it, I'd have been down for that too. But like I have no complaints about this episode, except that Scott's a dick, and that's just his character. So.
Right, as of right now, we have spoils of riches. Wednesday we have X-Men, and then Thursday we have Invincible. Until next week.
Yep, and we just we got 7 more episodes of this. I can't wait. Seriously, let's put this in the ether. If the next 7 episodes are on par with this one, this could be the greatest X-Men anything ever. Like straight up.
Yeah.
If these are on par with the first 3 we've gotten, it could be the best X-Men, media we've ever seen. So.
Oh yeah, no doubt a doubt.
So we'll see. Well, I think we're going to definitely keep an eye on this. But either way, I think that's all of our thoughts on this episode. What did you guys think about it? What did you think about what we had to say? Get down to the comment section, leave your thoughts there. And of course, you can always hit us up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com, BLERD_force1 on Instagram and on Threads, and of course, super_not_funny_show on TikTok. And while you're down there, do us a favor, hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. All that good stuff helps to grow this channel, helps more people see videos just like this. All right, thanks for joining us. Come back next week. We're going to review episode 4 of X-Men 97. Till then, I've been Mo, your comment extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the anime expert, video game designer, and lover of all things superhero, my good friend Ladi. We'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.
Peace.